the New England Patriots going into Pittsburgh last night and beating the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. AJ, I know there's a scene in the studio, so I'll let you take it from here. But Tone Diggs has got to be worried about the future of his program, of his franchise. Right. And I've never seen him look better with that Mac Jones jersey on. Way to go, Tone.
Yeah,
way to go, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tell you what, it's a great jersey. And, after last night, which was not a surprise, that team has been outgained in every single game except for one. They are the second worst team in the NFL behind the Carolina Panthers. Neutral field, they may be, it may be a pick'em. This is a great jersey. I'm actually thinking about switching to the Patriots side, to be honest with you, after last night. I might just keep this jersey. So, yeah, that's how disgusted we are in Pittsburgh. Everyone, I pulled the entire city. We are disgusted. We are tired of it. We are done with it. What
does that mean? What does that mean?
If there is not wholesale changes throughout the organization.
Like what? Who are you coming for? Whose job are you coming after?
Owner, GM, coach, all the players.
What? Every player. That's going to be tough.
I heard there was an Iron City beer salesman last night who wasn't giving their all. They could get out too. Okay, if you're not giving your all 100%, you're done. Okay, that's just where we are. That ain't happening
in Iron City. Don't you start saying because the Steelers stink at football that all of a sudden the people in Iron City aren't giving the 100%.
No.
We know that Mongo, IC Light, and actual Iron City are going 100% all day, every day, no matter how bad Mitchell Trubisky looks at he throwing a football. No matter how bad a defense looks against Bailey Zappe on the ball, Zappe, who's just slinging it all over the place to Juju Smith-Schuster. Don't you start bringing down other proud Pittsburgh companies because what's on the field at Acrisure is trash.
No.
Absolute garbage.
I didn't explain that good enough. Of course, Iron City is going to be incredible. It was going to be great. I was talking about, I heard one of the salesmen, one of the ushers was not giving its all towards selling that beautiful Pilsner of a beer, okay? That's what I'm saying. Everyone needs to give their all.
But didn't you think, hey, Pat, didn't you think this was eerily close to when I'm sitting there late in the game, it's 21-18. I'm thinking, here we go. This is another Steelers Tom win type win. This is what they do. They find a way. This is how they are built. Tone, I would imagine you were pretty hopeful too at that point when it is 21-18. Looks like we have a chance to win this game. Then when you get beat, all of a sudden your dreams are crashed. Here we go. Let's fire everybody. You can't do that.
No. I'd give up.
Yes, you can.
I'd given up long before that. I was not watching that game at that point. Why would I leave that piece of shit bowl still on when the Steelers weren't going to show up? Why would I show up for them? No, I wasn't watching still. No. I heard it was a good ending, but I wasn't. No.
Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long. It was the moment. You know, that guy that is in sticks has no idea how to twirl the towel. That might have been the reason why it didn't happen. Yeah. He had it in his left hand. He was kind of facing the boys. He's like, I didn't know they did this.
You need a little film study, right? You need to watch a few clips, I think, before you show up on site, maybe.
Yeah, and the official terrible towel twirler of last night, she brought her best. Renegade sang the shit out of that national anthem. Sticks tried their absolute best to do their thing, and it was a game late. And con man, I don't want to ask this question because there are a few Patriots fans just kind of lingering through this parking lot because we're at Gillette Stadium. But I know that late last night, as that game was winding down, you were secretly hoping that instead of on 4th and 2 for a 50-50 ball being called to Mitchell Trubisky, to Deontay Johnson, and earlier in the game in field goal range on 4th down going for it, instead of saying, hey, points probably at a premium. This is the lowest total in history, even though the over hit. We don't kick a field goal here. We go for it. We don't get it. That changes everything. Connor, you were secretly hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers would win that game last night. Is that an accurate testimony of how you felt last night?
100%. Yeah, I kind of came to grips with it after that first touchdown to Ezekiel Elliott, where they walked down the field on the opening drive. Like, okay, this feels like that Patriots game in prime time, almost like a Bill Belichick, hey, we got to win this game strictly for the fact that it can't be against the Steelers and you can't get embarrassed on prime time after having next week's game flexed out of Monday Night Football. But, I mean, it was a total team effort. I will say when TJ Watt got kneed in the mouth by Zeke on the first play, I went immediately to live bet the Patriots because we know the record without TJ. I don't think they've won a game without him on the field, even though he did come back. But you mentioned that cannon behind you being the biggest cannon in Massachusetts. I think it's safe to say the biggest cannon in Massachusetts is hanging between the legs of Bill Belichick. And I, for one, am happy in the end when we're talking long game here with the Patriots, because it does seem as though this hopefully did kind of reaffirm. And Hunter Henry, 2 touchdowns.
What a game.
He played unbelievable. 29th birthday, 2 tuds. You got to love it. But this game reaffirmed, I would hope, to everybody, like, yeah, at a 2-10, Bill Belichick can get the Patriots to this point where they come out not only hot, but then they hang on to the lead in the end. The defense, they had a few, moments that were tough, but they ended up, figuring it out in the end. That 4th and 2 stop you mentioned, Mac Wilson was unbelievable, at least at kind of the rush to QB spy. He did it again here, where it's like a little rush, and then he's right there, right by the ball. But no, it was a total team effort. Now, did I want to win? Absolutely not. Was I mentally prepared to wear a Pat Freiermuth jersey today? Yes, and he is a Massachusetts boy, so I was completely okay with doing that. But it is a bummer. But as we kind of think about this draft and where the premium players are going to be, I've kind of worked myself into 4 and lower I'm okay with. And right now we're at 3. And I do believe the Cardinals are going to win another game so we can get back down to 2. But, yeah, you can't feel too happy if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers on 4th and 2 throwing a deep ball to Deontay Johnson when Mitch Trubisky is Mitch Trubisky. But, a respectable game from a respectable franchise. I could be happier with the 2 overall pick, but I'm happy in the sense that hopefully Bill Belichick is confirmed the guy going forward.
AJ, what were your thoughts on last night? Just like you and I were texting a little bit, and
shootouts.
We both had these fantasies of a shootout, maybe, because the lowest total in 30 years in the NFL is stupid. So, like, whenever you hear that, you think to yourself, this could be the complete opposite of that. And at the beginning, oh my God, we're about to have this. Now Boswell has to hit from like 56, and the Patriots just walk down there and do their thing. They had 21. That over hit in the first half, AJ. What was your thoughts watching that game, and how do you kind of take everything away from it?
Yeah, well, Al, he mentioned that in the game, hey, we knew after the first half a lot of people could calm down a little bit, and they figured out that over already hit. But I told the boys when I came in today, this felt like a Patriots win. If you start right here, the play we're showing. Zeke, like everyone, Bailey Zappe played very, very well. Yeah. But I think everybody else kind of stepped up as well, and they all kind of did things. Like here, Zeke could have, another game, someone could have pushed him out of bounds. You get stopped in the 1 or 2. Hunter Henry coming up big, making some huge catches for Bailey Zappe. Juju catching that deep ball early. Like everybody kind of did their job and did what they were supposed to do and scored when you're supposed to, make every the catches you should. And I think that's like just a straight Bill Belichick Patriots type win when I look at it.
Yeah.
How come they can't do it all season?
I know.
How come it wasn't until week 14 kickoff against the Pittsburgh Steelers that we really see this Patriots team go and the Bill Belichick effect really hit the offensive side as opposed to the defensive side, con man? Why is that?
I'm not sure. I feel like the short week probably helped New England, especially because this is Bailey's second start. So maybe that has something to do with it.
It's a pretty easy answer. They were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. The team stinks. Okay, that's why they couldn't do it all season
They're
long.
above 500. They're above 500.
Sure,
playoff team.
You are what your record is, but when you get outgained by every single game every single game except for one, and then you lose in back-to-back weeks to teams with 2 wins, you are not a good football team. You are a fugazi, and their record shouldn't be what it is. It should be 2-11, whatever. That's what it should be.
How do you feel with that jersey on? You look pretty good, actually. The blue, especially with this new toned body you got.
I don't hate it, to be honest with you. I feel like a winner today, which is, something I don't always or normally feel like.
Do you speak for all of Steelers fans?
I think so.
Honestly, do you think the majority of Steelers fans, their whole fan base, are they kind of fed up? As you said, not wholesale changes. Do they actually want Tomlin out of there?
Yeah, it was trending last night, so I would think so.
Well, they got screwed, too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, Connor. I'm so sorry. But remember, I don't want to be like the whoa, remember what I said guy. Okay. Don't like to be that guy, especially in this particular profession. A lot of the things that come out of our mouths on a day-to-day with where stories are, we like people to forget that we ever said them, because in the moment, what we're thinking doesn't necessarily add up sometimes to what happens a week or 2 weeks later. But there was a time early in this season, I forget what week it was, but I don't want to say I was the one who said it, but like I did say, hey, from the read that I got from the Pittsburgh people that I follow and I'm friends with, who are loyal to the Steelers to their core, diehard Yinzers, would take a bullet for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those people exist in Pittsburgh in abundance. It's why the Steelers are, a storied franchise and one of the most popular in the world, is because fathers have been Steelers fans. The town's happiness goes how the Steelers go, and it's been like that for 100 years in Pittsburgh. That is just what Pittsburgh is. So I happen to know a lot of those people because I grew up in Pittsburgh, as did Nick and Diggs. This year felt different. This year felt different with those people who would jump in front of the M777 howitzer if it was being fired at the Pittsburgh Steelers or at Mike Tomlin. And this was early in the year. They were kind of fed up with the shits, a little bit earlier in the year. So now, after this happens, back-to-back losses to teams that only had 2 wins, teams that are no longer in contention or in conversation, especially happening in Heinz Field, the artist formerly known as Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium. It's like this has been brewing almost all season, Tone, don't you think?
Yeah, it has. And the only reason that it hasn't reached an extreme fever pitch, I think, until now is because of the record. And they hadn't lost 2 in a row, I believe, until now. So it's like when you're not on a losing streak, it's hard. But when you just look at the product on the field, and if you've been a Steelers fan your entire life, you've watched football your entire life, and you could look at the product on the field and say, this is not a good football team. It's just the record. They've won some really close games where they were outgained, stuff like that. So it hasn't, it hadn't reached the fever pitch that it was, but I saw a stat.
Is he choked up right there?
Yeah, a little bit. Very bummed out.
Pretty bummed out, but I believe I saw a stat earlier today. Pat, I'm going to ask you, do you know who has more playoff wins? I think in the last 10 years between the Pirates and the Steelers? The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Steelers?
Pirates never been to the playoffs, have they? The last 25 years?
They have. They have the same number of wins in the last 10 years. I think it's either 1 or 3 or whatever it is.
That can't be real. The Pittsburgh Pirates are a real team.
Exactly.
That's not real.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about. That's what I had to wake up with this morning and realize. Yeah, I mean, it's done. It's over. I mean, it was a great run, but I mean, it's time.
You got to transition from a Hall of Fame quarterback. Can't you have a little bit of time to figure that out?
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's been 3 years now.
Hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
Man, Big Ben has a lasting impression. You think of the Steelers, you still feel like Big Ben's under center, don't you, Ty?
Well, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
just how bad they've been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
he was there. Yeah.
I think that's when you know how things have really gotten bad. I mean, we've heard how Tony has talked about Mason Rudolph, for the last however many years, and you got everyone in the stadium chanting for him to get in the game last night. It's like, all right, how did we get here? But then you look at Mitch play, and it's like it's hard to really fault him for wanting to just get something different going. And then obviously close but no cigar. I don't know. It's crazy. It was crazy watching that game last night because it really did. It was almost like. You look at Zappe and Connor, kind of intimated this morning. You didn't exactly say it word for word, but you go from, hey, I want the number 2 overall pick. I want Drake May or Caleb Williams or whoever to after last night. It's like, hey, maybe Zappe's the guy for the future.
Throw this guy a contract, maybe. Like try to lock him up before he's looking for a $250 million deal.
Yeah. I mean, he got blanked in the second half, but yeah.